show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, it's part of the show. Didn't they teach you to reach for the stars while opening up the bars and keeping you chained down with mortgage bills and cars? Vaccines for your arms, kids sounding like supercharged, caffeinated hate-filled scars and rage-quit repertoires. No answers for yards, caught up in emotion that's not even yours. Imposter truths like impeccable retards, lined up for your serving of gish galloping wars. No remedy can't save the lost, in love with the yarn. I'm tired of walking into refracted shards, poor science displayed by disgusting bards. Soaked in sin with your dupe is delight in a new hand of cards. Been so long, seems like for love I'm just too hard, I'm just too hard. I said, welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know. Intoxicated eight makes you believe you're spinning in space while you have no shame or grace. It's a disdainful state I used to contemplate, how to save myself from my own self-hate. Wonder why I was even made with a dreadful fate, forced to try and awake with a full plate. No one to help me stay awake or educate. I've had to liberate and fight through hidden gates. But my brother, heaven could never be late, and rockets don't work in space. It's all fake, the show is on Mars. It's a joke, but you're too far gone, it won't be long. Fepe's beak is strong. We have our song and we march along like streams of knowledge leading to God's holy pond, and lives of truth that hits the bong and sings the song, turns mankind from the wrong. We come in peace with a holy gown and all of us wearing our holy crowns. Said the earth is flat and we probably just won't get along, just to go along. I said, welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know.
Before we get into our regular scheduled program, I'm going to run a clip from one of my favorite shows. I hope it becomes one of yours. You can find a link to it in the description box below. This is Ironworks.
Good morning, GFR. Good morning, Truth Frequency Radio. You are listening to the Ironworks. My name is Josh Corey. I am joined this morning by my good friend and my co-host, one Mr. Walter Johnson. Walt, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, or should I say, oi, oi, oi. If that music didn't get you ready for a day, I don't know what will. Josh, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm better than I deserve, Walt. Better than I deserve. I am really looking forward to this morning's episode. I think it's going to be good.
We're excited. We have an amazing guest, Martin Leakus, sir, flat earth British, mud, flood, historian extraordinaire. I'll stop blowing smoke, sir. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ironworks. We're so glad to have you.
Good morning, gentlemen. Walt, Josh, Adam. Good morning. Many blessings to you. That was epic.
Well, Welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show.
Welcome to Red Hen Radio, where truth fears no investigation. What do you know? What do you believe? Who are you? Where did you come from? Where are you going? How will you determine the way? What you think is news for you is only and absolutely propaganda. It's spin. There is no news for you. Only misdirection and disinformation. Join us here at Red Hen Radio as we discover how to squint when what we see isn't what ought to be. Because truth is not counterintuitive. Reading between the lines of the story you were just fed. I'm your host, Travis Finley. Welcome to the show. Do you know that you're part of the show?
Well, you don't know.
But the reason why I wanted to talk to you more is like
welcome back to another exciting adventure of
you're actually going through is no different than anybody else. As long as that if you know that if you're being personally attacked, or if you feel that way, or in a sense that you feel like that these collectors or telemarketers or even code enforcement, they're actually want to do business with you in the ways where they're presuming that you would acquiesce and make those payments. So now the matter is actually you're actually now want to present this in court or by self-appearance, and it's going to be the same way whether if you're talking to somebody on the phone disputing the charges. So in all honesty, it is a commercial engagement that you're in, and it is a contractual hearing that they're presuming that they're willing for you to make an offer. They're willing for you to accept the offer that they want to give you. So I mean, the idea actually the premise with everybody else is that they assume that they have these only choices whether they have to plead. That they see things like two-sided coins, but really there's three sides to a coin. There's the front, the back.
Okay, so let me stop you real quick and ask you. So when a person gets a citation and it gives you three choices, guilty, non-guilty, no contest, or whatever the other third one is, I can't remember.
Okay. Well,
there's another choice that we're not told about?
Oh, there's a no contest in there, so let's break the word down, con. So there's an optional choice that's in there. You don't have to sign something. You got a contract in there. For every contract, you could expect this contract, how I look at it, a purchase agreement, and then if you want to include something into that purchase agreement saying that I cannot plead, or something like a note indicating you need to see some evidence first or whatever, or proof of evidence before you make your offer or before you accept an offer, or if you understand what I'm saying. So they're actually giving you an offer, which is those are the three choices, but you could also come back with that counter offer saying that you cannot, sign off to an offer without proof of evidence clause and all that stuff in this matter. So it's like they want to give you the cart before the horse. That's what they want you to do, and they want you to acquiesce. But you could also give back that letter in response that they have no proof. So it's hard to plead. You know what I mean? If you want to put that down. But
yeah, I tried to do that on Tuesday in my arraignment. I went and said, I'm just going to tell you the script that I went through.
Okay. That's funny.
I'm open to criticism. So
yeah. First, hold on for 1 second. First and foremost, it's a funny French word that they call it arraignment, but really it's a financial arrangement. All right. So okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I basically started off. Do I have a right to a fair and meaningful hearing? Does the prosecutor carry the burden of proof? Am I presumed innocent of all of the charges? Am I presumed innocent of all of the elements of the charges? Is jurisdiction one of the elements? Am I presumed innocent of the elements of jurisdiction? And then has the prosecutor supplied or described any evidence that would grant this court the presumed jurisdiction to impose on me? And the judge said, well, evidence is a trial matter. I said, I understand that. I said, I have a guilty plea here that I'm ready to sign. I'll sign it as soon as I have an informed understanding of these proceedings. Is there any evidence provided in order for me to make a plea? I need evidence to understand the proceedings. He said, well, this isn't a trial. If you want to go to trial, then we can talk about evidence.
Okay, stop there. All right. So, now here's first and foremost. That trial that they're asking you is another presupposition, and meaning that they're not only that they want to presuppose you to make an offer, they want to presuppose you to have a trial within their court. So again, my question is, if this is first and foremost, if this is all, and how I said this question to you is that if a court is in conflict, can I get a fair hearing? That is before the trial that they're asking.
And you would establish that because
on the record. Yeah.
You would establish that because the prosecutor is associated with the state, the judge is associated with the state.
Correct.
And if the police officer is there as a witness,
absolutely,
he's associated. So now, that seems too simple. I mean, because
no,
I watched.
It's not.
Well,
but you it looks simple. You're a zen. You're a zen. You know how the board game works. But you have to look at this at the other side. The other people are not seeing that, so you have to see both eyes, so that you could actually project both awareness, cognizance in the record, and you're speaking it, and they will feel it it's gonna resonate when you see both sides of the game.
All right. So would you suggest then appealing the trial, because the judge basically said, because I stood up in the trial and I said my opening statement was I'm not going to be arguing the merits of the action whatsoever. I'm going to be requiring evidence from the prosecutor, and that was my opening statement, and I was done. The prosecutor then went about arguing the merits of the action. And I objected. I said, objection. He's arguing the merits of the action. I need evidence.
Correct.
Okay. And so the whole thing went down to it. So then I closed my account I closed my session with saying, okay, here we are at the end, and there's been no evidence.
All right.
And the judge said,
adjournment.
He said, well, I believe that the state has made the case that there is a code, and if you were breathing the air in Delaware, that code applies to you, and so you're guilty.
Okay, so then you say, is that your adjudication? And once you get some adjudication, the proceedings go they go in stayed. They go into some kind of lull. They can't do anything because now you're able to take that letter and bring it up and escalate it and go and really play ball. Now you're ready to not counterclaim their charges, wash it or whatever. It's now the actual real trial is actually if they're saying guilty and you get it, you can bring it and escalate it to a higher court, which is the real court. You're in front of 7-Eleven or Domino's right now. They think you ate their food.
So I left the courtroom and just thought that I would appeal at a later point.
You are the court. You are the authority. You are the court. They want you to sign off. They can say whatever they want to say. They want your signature for authorization. No, screw that. They want you to. More importantly, it's not that. They want you really to believe the system. That's all. So.
But my trial was last Tuesday, and
sure. And
so I can still go through the appellate process.
Fuck yeah, man! This is where you make money. Well, this is where now you can make extra money. So now you have your own personal jurisdiction, your own common law, your own charges. How much did it cost you to get there? How much? What else did they receive property from you? They stored it, all kinds of stuff. How much gas mileage, time? How much do you get paid per day? And then you could add the charges, add the charges what they're charging. It all goes to wash, but there's probably extra funds and extra fees for you to pay. And I think about a quick claim, and if it's in, I know in New Jersey, a quick claim court close is $15,000. That's the minimum, but that's fast, and it's guaranteed up to 6 months. Anything above $15,000, it's gonna require more than 6 months. It takes time, but you can make money on this.
Okay, so
That's it. There is if they're done with.
Do you have? Okay, so I was talking with a guy who guested on Crow 777's radio. Okay, he called in and he was talking about making a counterclaim before you even go into court. So if you get a traffic citation, he says you're going to write your motion to dismiss based on, or not a motion to dismiss, I'm sorry. You're going to write your counterclaim, and you're going to say something to the effect of, I, Travis, I can't remember how he phrased it, a member of the state of Maryland.
Yeah, okay, so in Maryland, they have a kit for you. So just when you go to the Hall of Records or County Records, they have a kit for you to make this claim. So they'll give you the questions, you'll be able to write everything, the stuff you're doing. You could put it down on a piece of paper, pay them the $150 or whatever fee that's in there, and you get a fucking docket, man. That's awesome. That's like a blanket. So you can even make a business card with that, because if anybody in the future wants to pull you over, they know that you have a live docket that you're being extorted. They know that you know what they know, in a sense. Only because they play this game every day, and they know these objections, and they know what to say, and they know how to move forward. They do housekeeping every day, man. So
all right. So I've got a really, really close friend who is much smarter than I am, who grew up in a family that tried to fight the system and is just still embroiled in all of these things. And he basically ripped me a new one today. He's like, if you go down this road, you are more a fool than I ever could have dreamed you are. He's like, do not do this. You're not going to win. You can't fight in their courts. They know all of the tricks. They are not going to let you get away with this. And I had a conflict, because the way that you and I are talking, I understand what you're saying, and it makes sense. And what he's saying is, you guys are talking dreamland. You're not talking reality. So I've got you, that is saying something that makes sense in terms of just simply working within the system. I'm not trying to get away with shit. I'm just trying to use the system.
You want me to give you some dismissals, man? I mean, my wife dismisses these. She hasn't had a driver's license in 20 years. I haven't had a driver's license in New Jersey. These police officers know I drive around without a driver's license. I mean, it's just
that'd be.
So I'm just thinking, anything that's traffic they know exactly. It's the biggest extortion money making thing. But I don't know what his matter is. It could be something different and more complicated. But if we're dealing with something that's fictional, which is just strictly merely traffic, you can demolish this. I mean, she's got like 5 dismissals already. Knocked them shit out. She doesn't even. She knows what she's saying. So I mean, technically, it's bullshit. I mean, they even pulled her over last week for just going over the line. There is no criminal thing to pull over. They're designated to do emergency pullovers. We're designed to it's a common courtesy for us to pull over. So
right. I have always wanted to. I've always wanted to pull over as though I'm letting him pass me, and then when he doesn't pass me, then I just pull back on the road and keep driving.
And then you say, I'm sorry, officer, I'm just used to doing that. So what is the emergency? That's all you want to say, and that's...
Well, yeah. So, okay. So, I don't...
and next thing, that is because that is the psychic hypnosis. That is the part of the legal fiction world. This is how we're talking from one person that's awake, another person's asleep, and it's to a point to bring it down to reality. Where you blend these stupid codes and perspective into really a common sense, because the other person can come out of that fictional world and agree this particular situation and have you move forward. So I mean, in that essence, just saying being pulled over and having that thought, just please excuse me or forgive me, brother, for trespassing. Just even saying that, I was actually just pulling over. I'm just used to pulling over for an emergency. So what is the emergency? Then if he asks you for a driver's, then that means he's asking you to actually open your drawers. That's something else that you may want to give him that type of look. So then you would probably respond, okay, that's great. I do have mine. Do you have yours? I mean, I hate to do this, but I know you work for the public, but I don't want to give all my information where I live and all that. And, so you want to be kind of somewhat guarded on your property or know exactly once you give this.
Well, see, that's what that's what I did. I said, when I was kidnapped last Saturday, a week ago today, I was calm, cool, and collected. I said, "Is there an emergency officer? I can help you if there's an emergency." He said, "No, I just need to see your license and registration or whatever." And I said, "Well, am I under arrest or am I free to go?" He said, "Well, no, you're not under arrest." I said, "Am I free to go?" He said, "No." I said, I'm under arrest."
Don't even say that. Don't even leave under arrest. No, just to say that you have your property.
Well, I was just giving you the lay of the discussion that I had. So then I said,
this is every day. He does housekeeping like this.
Yeah. So then I said, well, am I free to not incriminate myself? Am I free to remain silent? He said, well, I don't want you to speak. I just want you to give me your driver's license and registration. And I said, well, isn't the Miranda included in saying anything you say or do? So if I give you something that could incriminate me, then I would rather not do that, and I'm going to reserve the right to maintain my property, and so I'm not going to give you my license. So then he called his superior in for backup, and I went through the same thing with him. I didn't argue with him. I just said, do I have the right to remain silent? And he's like, again, I'm not asking you to talk. I just want to see your driver's license and yada, yada, yada. All the while...
All the questions you're giving, I know, here's the thing that sometimes it backfires. All the questions you're giving is a yes and no affirmative. It's a yes and no, and that's it. So when you're giving them a lot of no's, it gives them a choice to actually move along to whichever this proceeding is going to lead to. You know that, right? However, if you actually did another way other than leading to yes and no, because what it sounds like is the script is leading to a no to all this that escalated to this conclusion. Because from leading from a license, no. From leading from another person, no. From leading, it's all these no's. They had to make a decision. You know what I mean? So the reason how they made the decision is because they gave this decision to a higher up, so that it absolves their sin, so they could proceed what they need to do. That's how they're doing this. So don't lead them to these type of escalations. Lead them to a point outside the fiction. Let them know exactly, I have my property and everything else, or if I'm willing to forfeit this property as long as you have yours. I mean, you have to let them know that if you are going to forfeit this property, they would have the opportunity to extort you or to charge you and give them the jurisdiction whether they want to do it, yes or no. You want to hold your property till the end, and just still be nice about it. You know what I mean?
I'm not really sure I understand the language that you're using. Are you saying that you would say something like, I do have my property, and if you want to have a contract with me,
yes,
I will show you my property
if you have yours,
$100.
or if you $100, or if you have your property, show me your license. You know what I mean? They have to have their license. They have to go to work. If they don't have to work, they have to drive. If they're driving, you could counter offer and say, hey, you have your license that you're driving? Or heck, if I was speeding, then why were you behind me? You know what I mean? All these little things, and just lead them and dance with the person in tango that almost somewhat have him committed into the charge, that avoids him to commit that charge. It's becoming like it's like an actual strategic hypnosis, but you have to dance with him as if he doesn't want to write the charge because he could be included in it. You know what I mean? So if he's asking for a driver's license, you can ask for his driver's license.
Okay, but I don't understand what that would accomplish. Like if I said that to him, I said, well, I do have my property. Do you have yours? And I don't understand what point that makes.
The whole point is because you don't want to give your driver's license, he does not want to give his driver's license.
Why?
he's going to show his full name, his address, where he lives. You're going to do the same. Right?
Okay.
Would you want to give a stranger a driver's license? Who you are, where you live, your date of birth? That's your property. You're a model.
Okay.
Model does a great way extorting that picture, their fingerprints, everything. They get paid. Those are your personal properties. So if you're willing to forfeit the property to this guy, he has now you're giving up your authority. He has the choice to actually do whatever. And so, for example, if you're going to go buy a car, and the salesman says, okay, $20,000, right, for this used car, then you're going to say, okay, I accept that car for $20,000 upon this condition that you give me 4 new tires. Now that's the choice whether they're going to agree with that contract. So same thing. I have my driver's license with my address and everything else, as long as I will hand over my information, as long as you show me your information, if you want to go this contractual obligation. I have no problem going contractual obligation. Show me mine. I'll show you mine. Show me yours. Tit for tat.
That's interesting. Yeah. See, I mean, this is it's very, very interesting. So let me ask you this. I've got this. I talked with this guy the other day, and he has developed another motion to dismiss approach where he has a paragraph that is titled improper service. So that you require that you're going to write to the judge and write to the DA and write to the officer. The first paragraph is going to say, Judge, I'm asking you to make a judicial decision regarding whether or not the officer had probable cause and whether or not he had a signed warrant, so that there was improper service, right?
Is this a traffic matter? I'm sorry. I think I'm going.
Yes.
And is this 100% fictional? You know what I mean. Meaning, as far as is there a real plaintiff in there, like an actual defendant?
Okay, right. See,
not defendant.
Right. But see, okay. So I understand what you're saying. My friend would say that's the contract, that's the construct that they've created, and they know the way around all of that stuff. So when I got pulled over by the cop, I said to him, I said, what crime? What was your probable cause? And what crime did you see me commit? And it was a code infraction. You don't have tags on your car. I said that's not a crime.
So we're arguing on simple tags. All right. Now here's the next question. Well, actually, the license, the registration, and insurance are only there for commercial purpose only. So were you delivering a pizza?
Yeah, okay, but listen, yeah. See, I have not been able to establish that for myself, but I understand the rhetoric.
All right, is that my question, here's my question. Is that your personal property conveyance that is not operating as a business use? I can't find when you got picked up.
Yeah, it was my personal conveyance.
All right, that's all I need to know. That's fine. So it's your personal property. That's not commercially. So you don't need really all those things that you're over contracted already for a personal property. If it's being operated for trucking and transit and everything else, and it's got a commercial signs and a phone number, and it has a commercial plate on it, and it's not tagged or registered, then yeah, I can't argue that you're subject to those jurisdictions because you're operating under their bylaws.
Okay. So I understand all of your rhetoric. The thing is that our culture has no freaking clue what you're talking about. Like, if you were to talk to your neighbor and say this, he would be like, what are you talking about, commercial what? We're just supposed to get our registry. We're supposed to get the license for our car. They just think they don't know that that's a false construct.
Well, for the people that's on the boots on the ground, just to be clear, boots on the ground, out in the road, they're not clear with moving along from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. That's true in that matter. But when you get into the boiler rooms and into the superior courts and supreme courts, the circuit courts, they already know the game played. They already know these housekeepings. They already know exactly that the reason why you can't go beyond the Earth space is because there is a barrier there. They know that there is a barrier there, but they will not discuss the barrier there. You understand what I'm saying?
Kind of. You're mixing metaphors now. You're talking about space, but we're talking about traffic.
It's all systematic in that sense, in a way. It's universal. So they know that barrier. They're not going to use that barrier. So you can go beyond the barrier because you can address that barrier because you know the barrier. And within that medium.
And you're okay. And what I hear you saying is that if you know what you know, you can maneuver within. You can swim in that stream.
Of course.
And come out. Okay. See, this is where my friend was just like. I mean, like he was like seriously. Blowing a gasket on me.
Yeah, because what you can if you're gonna go 100% legal and then not recognize lawful who you are because you're law and the other side is legal. The law is the cognizant side, legal is non-cognizant. It's a robot. But if you mix those two up, you have a clear idea exactly how to speak and how to do the proceedings, and you'll be able to know exactly the actions that they're going to be using. So it's to them it's housekeeping every day, but for you it could be new, like a new person. But really, it's once you see exactly how this is played out, then you'll be fine to travel. You don't have to think that you're going to be extorted or pirates are going to be there raiding your ship and maybe even take your property. It's not that. It's beyond that. It's actually those once you know exactly these systems and stuff.
Okay, so let me ask you, where would you suggest someone go to see this tangibly? Because I've had a hard time finding shit like this to look up.
It's not. It's actually it's more perspective because you don't need to know a million statutes and codes to become a professional attorney. All you need to know is who you are and how to speak and how the game is played. And then once you play the game over and over, the rules are really your rules, and they just follow. If you've noticed, they're there. They have all the paperwork. They have all the evidence. All you have to do is they'll do all the work and they'll give it to you, and then you can represent it. It's all packaged. You can repackage it back. So that's how the public is, and there's people managing the public, just robots. But now you have an awareness how to use the public. So all the papers and documents and record it. It's all done. All you have to do is request it and then
right. But you're ahead of me. You're like a senior and I'm a freshman right now. So you know more than I do in this, and so you're talking with the familiarity of your knowledge. And I still am like when you say you just ask for the paperwork, I'm like I don't know what to ask for.
The charging, all the stuff that they spouted on the record is called the charging instrument. Then what you do is you want the charging instrument or the stuff that's on the record that they have, and then they'll give it to you. I mean, they have to forfeit over as far as.
Are you talking about asking for discovery?
Yeah, discovery, but really they'll know exactly. They'll forfeit that little kit to you too, and then it's something that you'll be able to bring over to the higher court and stuff. Because if you've already established stuff already that you've shown that the attorney has no cause or jurisdiction already.
All right. So
it's fictional.
So I have a court date coming up on Valentine's Day that is for the previous traffic stop a year ago when I didn't have tags and they stole my property and had it impounded. So are you saying that I can sue for damages against the garage for stealing my property as well as the police department? Like I can make two separate claims that the police department sanctioned the racketeering of the theft of my car, and the garage are the perpetrators themselves.
How is it not? How are they proving it's not your property?
Sorry?
Yeah, I mean, they've already proved. Is it really your property, that dwelling? You live there?
No. It was my car.
Oh, okay.
I was driving my car without tags. The cop pulled me over and said, "I pulled you over because you don't have any tags."
All right,
And so then I went through that whole thing with him in terms of whether or not he had probable cause and whether or not he had a warrant to serve to detain me and keep me from going about my business.
But it escalated into racketeering and stuff like that, and property.
Well, racketeering in the fact that the cops use Andrew's garage to tow cars, so he wouldn't let me leave. He said, "You can't drive this car. It doesn't have license or registration. I cannot let you drive this car."
That's fine, but okay. Now you were taking the vehicle out of a garage. Whose garage was that? And
No. The cop followed in behind me just per chance. He turned on my road when I was driving. He came behind me, threw his lights on. I went to the side of the road. He got out. We went through the whole thing. He wrote me his citations, and then he said, "Now you need to get out of your car because I'm calling the garage to come and tow your car, and we're going to impound it."
Their garage now? Yeah.
No, they use a garage to
I know.
to do their racketeering. So what I said to him was, I said, "Okay, I just want you to know you're stealing my property. This is my property. You don't have my permission to take it, and I'm gonna sue you."
Yeah, you can. Okay, so that's the matter. Now here's the second question. The second appearance, is it back to that same boiler court, or is it different? Or are you going to be appearing to a different place?
The first one that I was talking to you about was in Delaware.
Okay, so it's in Delaware. But is it going to be in that same Delaware facility, that same place that you're going to be appearing to?
I haven't gotten that far in appealing yet.
All right, so they're oh jeez, okay. So then actually you're still in the boiler room. All right, so I mean, to me that sounds like an adjournment already. So that means you're just revisiting the stuff here in Delaware. So I mean, still it's actually your first day again. It doesn't matter. It's like Groundhog for you. So you're going back in and you need to revisit back as far as how this. I'm just being pulled over because it has no tax and tax, but this is my personal property. I'm just moving it to put it into my garage, and that's pretty much it. So he is racketeering or whatever. That's bullshit already. That's just crazy stuff. So it's more so.
Are you saying it's crazy for me to mention it?
No, it's crazy for him just even writing it and stuff like that. That's crazy. Somebody's writing a racketeering and all kinds of stuff. It's just crazy. It's stupid already. It's traffic, man. It's your property. It's traffic. That's it. I don't still. If the moving party or the opposition party does not have a person there, a legal person to back them up, which is not an attorney, you're okay. If they don't have a person there, it's got to be there. It's for that charge or something. You know what I mean?
Do you mean the injured party has to be there?
Yeah, like if the person that's making the claim, or not the state, the other person making a claim, like an actual claim that that the car is supposed to be there or something like that. You know what I mean? That's the only monkey wrench I see if there is a legal person. If you have a legal person, it's going to be tough. He has to physically be there too.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rick. I'm not really sure. You lost me. I'm not sure what you're talking about right now.
All right. Well, I'm just presuming that did you have a commercial engagement with a third party to leave a vehicle, like a mechanic or something like that, or was a car being fixed or something? Why was the car there in the first place, and instead of your place?
Okay, I'm going to start over again because I think that I've said something that wasn't clear, so I'm going to try to start over again.
Yeah, at the very beginning, you took the car from a garage, and my question is, why is it?
No. Okay, that's let me start over. I was simply conveying myself from point A to point B. In between that spot, a cop happened to pull in behind me, and it became just a traffic situation. So
I get it.
I wasn't. The only time I mentioned garage was. That is the person who stole my car for the police, because the police can't leave my car on the public road without registration, and I can't drive it. So they towed it.
Oh.
And then I had to go to the garage and pay them to get my property back.
I get it. Okay.
So that's where I was using the language of the garage.
So the person really stole the car. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I get it. Oh, geez. So then that drama escalated into that type of thing. Oh, geez. And all right, I get it. I get it, Travis. No worries. So the whole matter right now is it's moving your conveyance from point A to point B. Interesting. Let's keep it that way. Yeah. I mean, for right now, what I'm letting you know is that this matter is groundhog for you. It's really your first day. It's not your second day. If this matter did not get resolved that day, and it's, you know what I mean, and you didn't get an adjudication, you're going back in again. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That.
Right. Well, there has been no first day for the scenario that I'm talking to you about right now, where I got.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I get it. Okay, but now.
The Delaware situation that we started our conversation with, that was a separate issue.
Sure.
Okay. So that was a trial that I had last Tuesday. The trial that's coming up in February is a primary day. It's the very first day of that, so it's gonna start there and then.
All right, I get it. Okay, so all right, so at least I'm comfortable. You have an idea what the first day looks like and how to make the presentment.
Right.
So right now is that one of the two may come up as the second day, meaning that they would get escalated, but who knows? That first day may resolve itself in that day. So we'll see. But more so is that I just wanted to give you an idea on perspective and what, more clear on what it looks like on the other end and how things are moving forward. It's pretty much nothing. Nothing really to worry about, really. It's more of contractual. It's business, man. That's what it is. It's all business. They want to open up a commercial account with you, whether if you want to make a payment or you can resolve it that matter and make the payment there and they're done with it. You know what I mean? That's it. You know how to resolve it. And when is this going to happen, Travis?
The trial that's
Tuesday?
coming up the trial that's coming up that's going to be the first trial for this situation is February 14th.
On Valentine's Day. Okay. That's interesting.
Right. Yeah. That's
you better hope it's a female. Most likely they're females anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned something about your wife having dismissals or a format. I mean, I'd be interested in being able to see that or look at those if that's okay.
Sure, no problem. I just have to look through her freaking documents and see what it looks like. But she's got like a stack house, dressers and stuff. I'll see if she can give it to me. But she won't be back on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's fine. So then the other thing that I would like your thoughts on is what happened last Saturday, which was my arrest. So that because that escalated to being kidnapped and caged for 9 hours, right? So, not only that, but they didn't read me my rights when they were arresting me.
Yeah, don't forget about the Miranda rights and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. You already have an idea exactly of duress, how much it costs if they want to go further with that. Just find out the same 9 hours, man. Find out how much it will cost somebody to detain you for trespassing. It's really trespassing. Your property's been trespassed. So you have these charges, your own personal charges. They got their charges on the record, and you'll have yours on the record. You can invoke it on the record too as well.
Okay, so what I hear you saying right now is that I'm going to be making a counterclaim. If they don't want to resolve the matter, you can go further. It's up to you. But you're scaling, man. So they have theirs and you have yours. So scale it right. So you want to find out what properties has been breached and damaged as well. So we're talking about damaged property now. That's what I'm thinking. There's damage into your property, and they want to put a lien levy also too. Yeah, dude, you're talking over my head. This lien levy stuff. I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, I want to understand what you're saying, but it's
simple. It's like, here's a simple thing. I can give you a quick picture. The straw man is, we've said that rhetoric so many times. The straw man is really the legal person that you carry with you in your pocket every day, and that's that name. It's that straw man. But for right now, for a ritual aspect, they have your name because you forfeit that straw man over to whoever that obtains you. So now that straw man is, you're going to feel that straw man because what they're doing is now they're putting pins and needles into that straw man. So now it's becoming like a voodoo doll. So that's a lien and levy. They have a lien and levy on your voodoo doll. They have a voodoo doll. And it's going to be, and then they're bringing it up. And the guy's going to come up with or a girl is going to come up with a robe, and they have your voodoo doll right there right there, and they're going to be asking you for discovery questions. They're going to be asking a lot of things about your voodoo doll. But that's the spell. That's how it works. That's why if you like people who are not knowing that this guy, this sorcerer or witch is ready to put spells out. It's only words, man. But that's what it is. It's words and stuff and theatrical stuff. But it's not. I mean, it's beyond that. It's if you see that, it's a game that's played, and the people there are just wearing costumes. They're not even real. Trust me. But when you see that, when you're talking like that, you're demolishing their costumes while you're speaking, while you're moving forward. So but try not to be too deadly in the art of this thing that we're speaking about. Just go along with it. Just play the game and play ball. You're supposed to have fun because you have this idea on what they're doing. I mean, you could speak clearly and concisely, and then by taking their offer and then you're repackaging it and then you're giving it back in this matter where they cannot go further forward other than to resolve it quickly and expeditiously. So try to get it done that day and have it squashed. If they don't want to agree with you and they think they can get you over, then you could knock them down with escalating it to a higher court. So I mean, listen to the things like if they listen to the things that they say. Okay, I mean, if they're willing to not answer your questions, you can motion them as a strike. It's something that you can bring it to a higher court. Try to insert higher court or something that you can appeal to a higher court if this matter doesn't, or argue it in the higher court. Putting that into their seat knows that you're looking to put a claim on this matter. If you mention something about it, like a higher court, then you know you're looking to play ball. That's the flagpole right there.
Okay, for me to be, I'm glad I'm recording this because I'm going to have to listen back to it. But it's like you understand, and again, because of your background with what you've already done with real estate and everything like that, so you already have familiarity with this arena, and I don't. So I feel like you're talking like high quality French, and I don't speak French. You know what I mean? So I mean, there's a certain aspect to which I do understand what you're saying, but then there's sometimes I'm like, I need to see this. I need to read something that will help me, understand what you're saying better. And then when you say, well, you just have to understand, I'm like, yeah, but I don't, dude. I don't. So I'm trying, though. I'm trying.
That's what I'm trying to show. That's why I'm trying to make some dramas and some things that's related to it, so you have an idea. I just want you to have a clear picture that it is a commercial engagement. That's all.
Yeah, but there's no obligation. Like right now, so if there's a commercial transaction, but I don't want to be a part of it.
Sure, that's the whole point. Yeah, that you'll get that answer. Here's the thing. Have you ever gone to a co-op or time sharing, and in that time sharing there's like a 2-hour process, and after that you get.
I've never done that, but I know what you're talking about, but I've never done it.
All right, that's what it is, man. It's a time sharing thing, and you're stuck with it. So you're done with the tour. Hold up, sir. Oh my God! You can go on our website. They have it. Okay. What was I saying? I forgot.
You were saying it's like a timeshare thing. You're done with it until the end of the tour.
Yes, that's it. You're in the middle of a tour right now. So just,
but that's an obligation. Like they brought me into this against my will. Like I didn't want to do this.
They're moving around jurisdiction to jurisdiction. First and foremost, if you can get them, absolve the matter first and foremost on the road, then you won. You know what I mean? You won. You actually won. If it didn't get escalated, you won in court. You are the court. So what you really need to work with is actually dialogue. Forget about what you know exactly now as far as the procedure. You know how to do this. If you can actually have the dialogue with the person, with this engagement, you're good to go. Like whatever his kid's name, whatever, he actually just drove by, whatever. He didn't have a license or tags or something. Also the same. So, I mean, it's a matter, I guess, how you're presenting or whatever, but it could be done. These guys, some guys are like, 20 years old. They're just kids, and they will require a supervisor to come in and do this. You know what I mean? But if you can get the kid and use their cognizance and then let them know that they have the authority to just move you forward, then you're good to go.
Welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, it's part of the show.